Welcome to the Old Orion Podcast. I'm your host, Zeus. Today's story is the first episode of the Unsolved series. Due to the nature of the content, listener discretion is advised. On May 6, 2014, in a quiet, affluent neighborhood in Lake Oconee, Georgia, a senior couple went to check on their neighbors, whom they haven't heard from in a few days. They were supposed to attend a Kentucky Derby viewing party, but they never showed up. The neighbors made their way to the lakeside house at the end of the cul-de-sac. After knocking on their front door, they noticed that it was unlocked, which was unusual for the couple. After calling them out for several minutes, they made their way through the house, room by room, and upon reaching the garage, what they discovered will make you double check if all your doors and windows are locked at night. Russell and Shirley Dermond were a retired couple originating from New Jersey. In their younger years, Russell served in the Navy during World War II, and Shirley was a student in New York City and also working as a secretary for a shoe company. Russell met Shirley after coming home from the war, and they hit it off instantly. Eventually, they married on December 15, 1950. The couple had 4 children, and eventually, the family grew into 9 grandchildren. Russell went into the fast food business and had a successful career owning and operating 16 Hardee's restaurants. When the Dermonds retired, they moved into a gated community in Lake Oconee, Georgia. They built a beautiful home, over 3,000 square feet, lakeside. The couple seemed to enjoy a quiet retirement, with Russell spending most of his time at the golf course and Shirley, being a skilled card player, often won weekly tournaments. On May 3, 2014, the Dermonds were supposed to attend a Kentucky Derby viewing party with the neighbors, but they never made it. After not hearing from them for a couple of days, concerned neighbors performed a wellness check on their home. After making their way inside, they couldn't find the couple anywhere. Eventually, they made their way through the garage, and that's where they discovered the lifeless body of Russell Dermond. He had been decapitated. The couple, in horror, promptly made a 911 call.
County 911.
Yes, I have an emergency.
Okay.
I think I have somebody dead.
Okay, what's the address, ma'am?
Sure, what's the address here? We're in Great Water.
Is it 147 Carolyn Drive?
Yes, 147 Carolyn Drive.
Okay, and who is it?
The Dermonds.
Okay, and you're a neighbor or something?
Yes, I just came to check on them. They've been missing for about 4 days.
Where, are they in the house?
Yes, please.
What's your name, ma'am? Okay.
Oh, my God.
Okay. They're both dead, Miss Williams?
Did you find both of them? No.
Okay.
No, it's just one.
Okay.
I don't know where the other one is.
Okay. All right, I'll get you a deputy in the ambulance over there just in case, okay?
Yes, please. Okay.
The Putnam County Sheriff's Office promptly responded to the scene. Investigators found the lifeless body of Russell laying in between 2 vehicles in the garage. They were unable to locate his head in the residence. He was fully clothed when he was found. His body was surrounded by towels, seemingly to avoid blood from spilling out of the garage. He also had a laceration to his left index finger. Police found gunshot residue on the collar of his shirt, but there was no visible blood spatter on the garage, possibly suggesting that he might have been murdered at a different location and possibly decapitated in the garage. After sweeping the residence, investigators were unable to locate Shirley Dermond anywhere in the property. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office speculated that she might be the victim of an abduction, and a search was promptly underway. Due to the unusual nature of this crime, the Putnam County Sheriff, Howard Sills, gave a press release on the murder and disappearance of the Dermonds. Sheriff Sills stated there were no signs of forced entry, and robbery likely wasn't the motive since their personal belongings were found at the home, including purse, wallet, phone, and keys. The sheriff's office sets up a tip line for anyone with information on the case to come forward. Sheriff Sills states that he requested the assistance from several law enforcement agencies, including the FBI.
There haven't been many new developments today, but I will finally confirm for all of you that Mr. Dermond's head was decapitated, and we do not know the whereabouts of his head. The autopsy is still going on right now at the State Crime Lab in Atlanta. We are still interviewing neighbors and friends and still pursuing the acquisition of financial records and those types of things. And we still do not know the whereabouts of Shirley Dermond. We have had false reports and rumors to the extent that we found Miss Dermond's body. We have not. And I stress to everyone, as I have since the very first day of this, we need to assume, or at least pray, that Miss Dermond is still alive, and we desperately need to know her whereabouts. And obviously, we need to find, if possible, the remains of Mr. Dermond that we don't have in our possession.
Anything else found in the garage? Any kind of a weapon?
No.
Knife?
No.
Hatchet?
No.
Were there any blood stains in the garage?
Well,
That's the murder scene?
I don't know if that's the murder scene, but there's obviously blood.
Was the coroner able to give you a better sense of exactly what time this crime happened? Or you
Well,
don't
not-
have down to a day?
No, we know that this happened sometime between, I know that this happened from other sources, mail deliveries, that it happened sometime Friday or Saturday or maybe early Sunday morning.
Have you heard calls about from the
We are trying to locate all surveillance footage anywhere in that area of this county. My detectives are out right now gathering video footage from stores even that we had no idea he might have gone to or might not have gone to.
Where was the person?
Lab, I've not confirmed that yet. I would suspect it was postmortem. I would suspect that. I do not know that.
Can you talk to us about what your investigators have been doing in the surrounding community, in the houses nearby, and then on the lake as well, in terms of what you're looking for?
Within a matter of 2 hours upon receiving this call, my patrol boats were in the water and we drugged the vicinity of this home. Obviously, we are not in a position that's humanly impossible to drag Lake Oconee, but we did that within a couple of hours. Yesterday, the Department of Natural Resources came with the most advanced sonar equipment they have, what we call sideband sonar, that depicts the bottom of the lake. Once again, we worked the area immediately adjacent to the home, and I don't mind telling you, we found a Christmas tree and a lawn chair on the bottom of the lake. Within an hour of responding to this call, our cadaver dogs had searched the immediate vicinity, wooded area around the home. Not the entire green space there, but the entire area immediately adjacent to that. We've done that. We continue going from door to door, people on that street, the adjacent streets, and things like that.
Back at the property, the State Department of Natural Resources, along with assistance from the U.S. Marshals and the FBI, deployed the use of ROV sonar in efforts to comb through the lake. After a prolonged search of Lake Oconee, efforts were ceased without any fruitful results. On May 15th, 2014, their son Keith shared during an interview that he and his siblings acknowledged the possibility that they wouldn't find their mother alive. Authorities continued to work the case as a missing person, hoping to find any clues that would lead to Shirley. Unfortunately, on Friday, May 16th, 2014, just 10 days after the initial 911 call, the body of Shirley Dermond was found by a local fisherman in Lake Oconee, 5 miles from her home. Her body was weighed down by a pair of 30-pound concrete blocks. Shirley's body was in a moderate state of decomposition, which made the body float to the surface despite being weighed down. The body was recovered and an autopsy was performed by the medical examiner. According to the autopsy report from the ME's office, Russell was found in a mild state of decomposition. His head had been separated at the level of the C5 vertebrae with a sharp object. Lack of hemorrhage around his neck indicates his decapitation was performed post-mortem. His toxicology reports came back negative for drugs or alcohol. Russell's death was ruled as craniocerebral trauma absent his head on examination, with the manner of death listed as homicide. Shirley's autopsy described moderate decomposition, a V-shaped laceration above the right ear, with ecchymosis or bruising present on the right side of her head. A depressed skull fracture suggesting blunt force trauma was also present. The autopsy also revealed evidence of post-mortem binding using paracord around the ankles. Toxicology screening came back negative for drugs or alcohol as well. No evidence of sexual assault present. Shirley's cause of death was ruled as blunt impact injury to the head, with the manner of death listed as homicide. Shortly after, in an interview with The Telegraph, Sheriff Sills stated that he believes that his investigation points to more than one person being involved. That scenario seems more likely, given that the suspects would have to subdue both Russell and Shirley at the same time. Sheriff Sills theorizes that Russell's head may have been removed in an attempt to conceal ballistic evidence. If true, that would suggest a more calculated and planned crime than just a random home invasion. As the sheriff's office continues to work the case, forensic evidence narrows down the time the crime was committed to the afternoon of Friday, May 2nd to Saturday, May 3rd, also in the afternoon. By early June 2014, due to the lack of tips coming in, for the first time in Putnam County Sheriff's Office history, a reward of $30,000 was issued for information leading to an arrest. Sheriff Sills stated that the use of a reward to solicit information is not something they usually do, but he was left with little choice. Following the announcement, tips came pouring in, some more credible than others. A neighbor reported that he saw a man around the time of the murders in the backyard. He didn't think much of it at the time, because he believed the man to be Russell. But when he found out about the murders, he wasn't so sure anymore, and he decided to tell the authorities. Not too long after, the reward amount was increased to $50,000. But despite the high reward amount, the amount of calls received about the case, the authorities had few leads, and the case began to grow cold. In the years following, there were few developments about the case. In June 2016, Sheriff Sills gave an interview to the local news channel and shared that forensics determined that the killer or killers had accessed the house by boat. But even with that information, the case stayed cold. Throughout the years, there were few developments that would make headlines regarding the case. Sheriff Sills would make an appearance in the news to give an update or share new evidence, but nothing substantial that would bring them closer to the truth. In 2022, the FBI revealed that new technology, not available at the time, was used to follow a new lead regarding cell phone data collected near the area at the time of the murders. In 2023, new DNA evidence was submitted for testing, hoping to reveal new insights as to who the killer or killers might be. Sheriff Sills stated that he's cautiously optimistic, as the DNA collected could still belong to the Dermonds. Nearly a year after the DNA testing was submitted, Sheriff Sills shared with the media that the DNA profile they obtained did not belong to the Dermonds, and could possibly belong to whoever is responsible for the gruesome crime. To this day, the case continues to haunt Putnam County Sheriff's Office. It remains open and being investigated by multiple law enforcement agencies. And that brings us to today. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Old Orion Podcast. If you liked today's story, leave a review and hit the like button. To stay up to date, don't forget to follow or visit our socials. Links are in the bio. Until next time, stay safe.